Hey everybody, welcome aboard the Tabletop Express.
Woo, woo.
This is Call Aboard, everybody.
I feel like it's been a month since I've been.
It has
on
been.
this.
We missed you.
I missed you too.
I know.
I missed you too.
But yeah, this is Call Aboard. You'll see right at the top here, call dash aboard, call hyphen actually,
.com.
.com.
Right.
You can call and be part of a show. If you have never seen one of our episodes, Call Aboard is our live call-in show. We do 2 of these a month. One of them with a very clear topic. As you can see tonight, we're talking about bringing it back out of print games. But at the end of the month, if you tune in, you can just call in to talk about games you played in that month. So we do 2 episodes a month as a whole. But yeah, we're excited because tonight's topic is one that I feel it's very timely.
Well, before you jump right in,
Yeah.
I'm Ryan.
Yes, I'm Chris.
And we're doing Call Aboard, right? So it is a live call-in show. We do have some fun shirts.
Oh, yeah.
You. Thank you. You know, this one's brand new, believe it or not.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You'd think I'd have like millions of
I would
these.
think you just have a closet.
I do. I'm like Pee-wee. You know? Do you have a closet of Mario shirts?
No, Captain America shirts.
Oh, that makes sense.
So
So for tonight's show, it's a call-in show. You can call in. You can just comment in the chat too. Basically, what we'll do is we'll pull up on a fancy screen. Ready? Fancy screen. 3, 2, 1. Over there. Hey, over there.
yeah, there it is.
We'll pull up Board Game Geek. Talk about whatever game you want to talk about. Tonight's topic is
Yeah,
out
it
of
is.
print games.
It's out of print games. We were actually just talking, like I said, from a timely perspective. I mean, between restoration games, bringing back games now more and more, between just
Greetings,
seeing.
Chandler.
Yes, we see Brian Chandler in the house. Again, hello to Danielle. You see more of these games coming back.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of these games that it feels like they could come back. I mean, we were just talking about the fact that I had sold off my copy of Ex Libre,
Yeah.
which I wouldn't go buy another copy personally, but now we see there's Ex Libre's coming back,
Second edition.
second edition with an expansion that you can get too. So, I mean, what's safe, in terms of that market. Anything really could come back. A lot of it comes down to the license these days.
Yeah, I feel like that's the big elephant, right? Where intellectual property games, Battlestar Galactica,
Yeah.
Hasn't come back. I mean, it sort of did. We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
We'll get to that. That's a bigger conversation.
Yeah. But yeah, if there's a game that maybe even you have in your collection that's just out of print and you like talking about it, like I like talking about that one. I'll get to that later. That one's out of print. Woefully out of print. Shamefully out of print.
Shamefully is a good word.
And everyone should play it at least once. So yeah, call in, and while we wait, we're just gonna jump right in and talk about some games. We're also gonna review some games today too.
Yes. Just so everybody knows, at the top on our list for reviews, the Field of the Cloth of Gold,
Right.
Turing Machine, Hadara.
Yep.
You are going to be talking a little bit about Old London Bridge.
Yep.
And we're going to wrap up with a little game called Islet. Yeah, and I was going to talk about the Great American Mail Race, but I said so much about that in the last episode. I didn't feel I would be saying too much different. But I do want to make a note. If you go back to the last episode of Call Aboard, where Anthony and I were chatting, I shared quite a bit about it.
Well, play your copy.
And then we'll come back with more people playing it and give it a proper review. But if you're interested in that one, I was considering it, but deciding to hold off on that one.
Yeah. So, we do have one caller who just joined in. Yep. You're looking at the camera. Yeah, you're pointing at your shirt.
Yes.
Don't worry, I'll bring it on in 2 minutes, maybe so. So let's just bring him in. Let's bring him in. He's no stranger to the show. Get that camera organized. In 3, and 2, and 1. Hello, Squirrel.
How you guys doing?
I was muted
for a second there.
No, it's okay. It's good to be back.
It is good to be back, and I saw you a couple days ago, but I haven't seen Barrows in person in quite some time. So
yes,
that's true.
I drove by your town recently.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about that.
And I checked out your Barnes and Noble. Checked out your Barnes and Noble, which has a very poor board game selection. That's all I'm going to tell you.
It got very small. I mean, it's very clean, but it's very small now.
Well, for the record, it's a very beautiful store.
Wait, didn't it close down recently?
The one that was further on 22 towards Springfield did, and it relocated to the I live next to 22, and there's a shop right there.
Yeah.
That's where I went. That's where I moved to.
Oh, like where the Best Buy is. Right? I don't know. This is a very New Jersey centric talk.
Yeah, Dr. J gave
yes,
there's a Squirrel Town.
There probably is.
There is a Squirrel Town. In fact, we passed by on our trip.
Hmm.
We went down to Annapolis for our anniversary, and one of the towns I think was Squirrel something or Squirrel Village or Squirrel.
What?
Oh no, it can't be.
Yeah. How could you? So hang on. This is nonsense because on our Discord, you took a picture in front of every single gaming shop, and you had no idea to just pull over at a sign that said Squirrel Village and do a selfie.
I didn't. So we passed by the one sign, and we were hoping to pass by it on the way. I know. I'm
all right. We'll forgive you, provided you talk about our topic tonight, which is Bring It Back, How to Print Games.
I originally have 3 to talk about, but I'm going to leave one because I believe one of you is going to talk about it. So
you could join us and talk about it.
Yeah,
sure. I will eventually if you guys join it. I'll just start typing away. But I have 2. One of them, I think all 3 of us have a copy of. I believe so. And one of them, I believe I'm the only one that liked it enough to have a copy of it. It's kind of showing right here. So let me just go ahead and show this one off.
Clans of Caledonia.
Clans of Caledonia.
I love that game.
Yes.
Yeah, Barrows likes that game. It's to me that didn't like the game.
I still own the game. I actually have been playing it online lately.
Yeah. Oh, you can
So it's on BGA, and I think that's where Espen and I played it.
Yes.
I know Espen has feelings about it, but I'll let him talk about that. But Clans of Caledonia, it's one of my favorite economic games. It has a great market system. If you buy something, it goes up in the market, kind of like a Raccoon Tycoon or Lizard Wizard, whatever you prefer. But depending on how many you buy, it goes up that much in the market. Depending on how many you sell, it goes down that much in the market. Yeah, that's the market board. you have contracts to fill out, but you're also filling this board with like Scotland,
Yeah.
with like your clans, and you're trying to make it very, very diverse and outspread, and that gives you more points and can fill contracts. It's a lot to think about, and it's a weird teach. But once you get it, it's one of those games that just flows really well. And I would love for it to come into a reprinted kind of situation where, like, you have to get. Well, this is specifically the premium. And this is a bucket load of money right now. I want to say it's like 150, 200 right now. But I got it back when people were selling it for like 70 or 80.
Right. And that's the thing about a lot of these games.
Yeah.
You know?
So I'm hoping they also reprint it in such a way that everything fits in the box. Because right now everything in the box right here, I'm going to start unraveling it, is very, very squished and like hard to organize correctly or properly. So yeah, so this is the inside of the box. I have to take the market cord and the map cords out, and so everything's going to fall. Everything squished in there.
I'll give you full screen so you can show it.
Yeah, so I have things that I have the upgraded bags and whatnot, but everything is squished in here and kind of disorganized other than what's in the bags because of how deluxe it is. I'm just afraid to move anything because it'll fall.
And I could have sworn there was a recent Kickstarter for the digital version. Is that correct?
There was. I remember. Yes, I remember that.
Yeah,
which is odd because I believe it is on Tabletop Simulator. I'm not sure, but I think they're going to like full on app for it.
Yeah, I see right here that after being out of print, happy to announce Clans of Caledonia available for you again in 2023.
Oh.
So.
Where you found that out of nowhere. I'd love to hear about that.
So the reprint, subscribe. You can subscribe to get notified.
Upcoming crowdfunding for a reprint. But it makes it look like it's going to be exclusively an app. I don't know if that's the reprint or not.
That it says reprint, so
yeah, it does.
But they're probably because I remember they had a Kickstarter campaign for their app.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
Just that picture right there makes it look the same.
Yeah.
But I don't know how they're going to do this reprint or what it's about.
Because
maybe I should flip.
Didn't TTS have expansion of some sort with it? Like it had some.
Oh right, because there's an expansion.
Is there?
I could have sworn
on TTS. On TTS, I swear I was reading there was a yeah. That's Mr. Allison right there with the expansion.
They're reprinting it with an expansion.
I want it.
Yeah,
whatever it is, I want it. I guess I should subscribe to where you're pointing. You know, if you can put that link in YouTube, I would love to.
I will put it right now to it. In the chat.
Yeah, we can always we could drop it over on the Discord later for anyone who might be interested too. Consider that my cheap plug for the Discord.
No, that's all right.
Plug regardless, I know that Barrows loves this game now, and
so full disclosure, I played this. The first time I played this, I think it might have been Con. I can't remember. In Connecticut, which I think has a different name now. But I remember playing it and just falling in love with the market piece that you mentioned.
Yes.
Like that was the thing that did it for me. I really love that. The other stuff, throw whatever theme on it and it's fine. I did like that the clans were all these real Scottish like if I mentioned the name to someone with that background, like, oh yeah, I actually know this, and my family came from this one, and their family wasn't in the game, so they were annoyed. So I got to check the expansion, see if they're in it. But I really did enjoy it. I like this one. It's a little bit much asynchronously on BGA, which was what I'm doing at the moment. I definitely prefer it real time, even if it's digitally. But I love this game. This was in my top 20 for a while.
It was.
It just doesn't get played enough to stay in the top 20, quite frankly. But it's in that top 50 very easily because I just think it's a fun game. It definitely, your brain is working when you use this one because you really gotta think, but you also have to react to what other people are doing as they expand.
Yes.
And they take something from the board that you wanted. So it's got some pretty decent engagement overall.
It really does. There's a lot of Euro games that I like that don't pretty much don't have much player interaction whatsoever. But this one definitely has quite a bit, especially messing with that market board and taking the contracts people want. And the cool thing about Clans of Caledonia, if you don't know it either, is when you're placing out your figures, if you place it next to an opponent's figure that gives a resource, you can buy resources at discounts from them for the most part. Or not from them, from the market, but like at a discount because you're getting it triaged through that player. But yeah, there's a ton of interactivity in this game, plus the Euro, plus the market board. It's just a brilliant piece of work.
And can I tell people this? Because a lot of times we do try to talk about the retail version because that's very easily what people are going to
That's the one I had. Yeah.
In this particular case, the retail version of it looks beautiful. Like I don't have the version you have. The retail version looks great. I have no complaint whatsoever. If you want the plus and you want the more, obviously, and in this case, I probably would. But the premium, I should say, the retail looks really, really nice, and I very much am happy that I have it. Though,
yeah, these are like the retail pictures from their site.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the premium just has upgraded resources, and it has the Kickstarter extra clans.
Right.
I think there's 2 of them. They also have the metal coins and the slipcover that I just showed you. But aside from that, I don't know if there's much else.
So it maintains the same quality regardless. It's not a surprise when it comes for me as far as I'm concerned to hear that, just because the quality of this game is just solid. But yeah, I encourage people to try it. If you want to try this, try it real time on BGA, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But real time. I stress if your first play is asynchronous, I just don't think it's going to be as good.
No, we played it real time. I played it real time with you, Squirrel.
You did. It was on BAG, but it was real time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But with all VGA games, as we all know, if it's anything that's rated like a 2.0 or higher, try to learn it in person first. Somehow. If you can. If you know somebody like me or Barrows, please just let us know. And we'll
happy to. Happy to if anyone's interested on the Discord, actually, quite frankly. I mean, throw in that live gameplay category, and we'll be happy to arrange something sometime.
So that's my first game. The second game, I'm sure you guys will also have a lot to talk about. This is a game we all have. Barrows has 1 expansion for it. I used to have all 3 expansions for it. But they need to come back out with Battlestar Galactica. Now, licensing-wise, they're never going to be able to, I don't think. But I know they have Unfathomable, but that's... I've played Unfathomable once, and I still think it's not comparable. It's fine. It's not comparable, though, especially if you have Battlestar Galactica and know the series.
Look at the score right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's BG.
I understand that, but I'm saying is that it's close, though. So it's interesting. There's 7.7 versus 7.6,
But like, I would say that like if you like the Cthulhu theme, sure, Unfathomable was just great for you. Just play it, and you'll pretty much know how Battlestar Galactica works. But if you have watched the show, which before I played the original Battlestar Galactica, Espen was like, "You have to watch the show. You gotta watch the show." And so I watched the show. To be honest, if you wanted to play just the base game, which is just great in itself, you really only need to have an understanding of the show, and for the most part for that, just watch the first 2 like mini series movies. That gets you into what Battlestar Galactica is, what Cylons are, what you're trying to do, what you're trying to get out of, and the whole concept of it. And that's enough to play the first game, I would say. Just anybody who's a fan of sci-fi, Battlestar Galactica, or just a hidden trader kind of game with a lot of interactivity and just the theme is pouring. It's
so integrated.
It really is.
That's the problem with Battlestar versus Unfathomable.
Yeah.
There's not like a Battlestar Galactica H.P. Lovecraft story,
Yeah.
They're just that's the theme they had. That they're not going to worry about an issue with licensing. But this is such a great example of a board game, like using board game as a medium to just like make a great adaptation of the TV show, because the TV show is fantastic, and they did such a solid job recreating it all that I'm able to convince Battlestar Galactica fans who are not really in board gaming to play this game, and they'll put up with it because of how engaging it is. because it's a 4-hour long game.
Yes,
roughly, yeah.
But I always say I think I'm glad you talk about the engaging in the show for this one, because I do think engaging in the IP is important.
Yeah.
Very.
Because I mean, I every time I've played, I mean, you've got character design that is, I think, really fantastic in this one. If you know the game,
Yeah.
because you've got a character designed in the game to be more likely to be the traitor, and that design makes sense
Balls hard.
when when you know the game. And I myself have gone at odds, I think, with whoever that person is in 2 plays of this game in my life, because I just didn't. I'm so there's suspicious activity from them. It could be minor, but you're overthinking it in this game, and that's exactly what you should be doing.
Exactly.
Because you can't trust that guy. So,
and to be fair, in our game, he was trustworthy. It's funny. So the person we're talking about, his name is Dan. He's really, really well known in the Werewolf universe. So he's really good at traitor games.
Yeah.
This is just one of those games where if you know the IP, I think the game just will sing to you when you play it. There is no. If you wanted to play a game where you're not telling people that they're fracking toasters, then you want to play Shadows over Camelot, which, by the way, is another game that's out of print, which is a lot of money.
I was gonna consider mentioning that one, because I do own that one. I wish I had the expansion.
It's not as good Battlestar,
but it's enjoyable, but it's definitely. I won't get rid of it. But I will, if someone said to me, I really want to play Shadows, say, are you sure you just don't want to play Battlestar? Because I've got that too.
And they might bring it back,
I played Shadows over
recently.
Oh, yeah, so that's right.
They might bring it back, because there's a resurgence for playing it because of that too.
Yeah.
I played it for my birthday because I've just wanted to. I like the whole medieval knights and the Arthurian legends and stuff like that. And I didn't know exactly what I was getting into. It is very, very, very Battlestar Galactica light. But instead of going around and fighting off Cylons, you're actually playing poker hands, which is not, it's something that doesn't really immerse you into it, especially since there's other things you could be doing. But it was quite fun, actually. I'm not gonna lie, it was quite fun, and it's also it took us an hour and a half to finish the game of Shadows over Camelot.
It's not as long.
No, it's not.
Definitely, that definitely helps.
So if you want Battlestar Galactica light or something very, very close to it, you should probably start with this. An hour and a half. And that was with 6 people. With Battlestar Galactica, where you want 5 people exactly, that's the best. 6 and 4 is fine, but 5 is best. And you're looking forward to a good 4-hour to 6-hour game of just immersion and just name calling and oh my God, is he the traitor? Is she the traitor? Then you want Battlestar Galactica.
For sure. Gabe brought up a thing too. So I'm happy it was brought up because this did come across my mind. So Tom Vassal, there's the Vassal Law, which is if a game is great and in high enough demand, it'll be republished. And Maybe, because again, I don't necessarily think the Battlestar Galactica board game is going to come back. There's
Licensing.
only Unfathomable, is a thing, and some games later editions will come, Merchants of Venus 2nd edition came out, and it's claimed to have all the stuff from 1st edition, but it didn't. A Study in Emerald is a fantastic example of that, because Study in Emerald 2nd edition came out, but the 1st edition was so radically different than the second one. They kind of streamlined it and honestly kind of broke it, I don't
But do you count that? I mean, it's a fair question, and to say if you bring back a game, right, but you break the original design or you take enough out, is it the same game anymore?
Well, the good example of that,
that's a different edition. That's not necessarily a reprint. Would you
yeah, and I think that's kind of what I'm getting at is if you completely break the game at that point, really is it truly a reprint? To me, a reprint, you're bringing back the core of its gameplay, and some games have come back and felt very different.
Well, yeah, so Dune, right? Dune was long out of print, right? The original one from the 70s, long out of print. But it was
1979.
1979. But it was, everyone who played it, like there's a diehard fan base for Dune. Like there still is a diehard fan base for Dune, and the Gale Force 9 reprint, it had a streamlined version, but it at least had all the stuff in the original one too.
Yes.
So you can play the original game in Dune, and that's the kind of thing that I like. Because not for nothing, sometimes I like schlock. Sometimes I like game that have warts and all, and I kind of want to just like take it like from like an anthropological point of view. Like, hey, this game came out in the 70s. No wonder it's playing like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I want to take that into context. I'm fine with it being streamlined, but if there's a game like like Dune, if they just said, you know what, we're gonna make Dune a lot more streamlined and just make it just take out some of the nonsense and just make it where it's just a battle game and area control game, it would lose that charm,
Yeah. Regarding the old Dune, this one, you're right. It didn't really change much. It fixed a few of the rules that were either missing, incomprehensible, or actually were breaking the original game.
Yeah.
They fixed that up with this version of Dune, and it still has some kinks that need to be fixed. In fact, on Board Game Geek in the files, I am going to be putting in my copy of a player aid. It's not in there, but I have it on my computer. But I'm going to be putting it in, and just because it's a little difficult still to get this rule book. And so, like, I had a copy of that around the table for all of our players when we played for my birthday a couple years ago. But yeah, some kinks still in the game. Still make it fun. As long as you enjoy the original, you'll enjoy the reprint.
Yeah.
You'll enjoy the reprint. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, I will let you take the third one. I'm sure it's going to happen at some point in time, but if it doesn't, I will yell it in the chat.
Go ahead.
You want me to take it? Okay, well, I'm going to talk about a game that is in my collection, right? And is a masterpiece and is woefully out of print, and it's in my top 10.
Yep.
And that's, of course, is El Grande.
That's the one. That's what I figured.
That's the one, right?
Yep.
You can't talk about out of print amazing games without mentioning El Grande.
Directly above your head.
Directly above my head. Right there. So good. I love El Grande. Oh, hey, Dan. Dan's in the chat.
Thank you for teaching it to me, by the way. This is I really do want a copy for myself too, but it's really hard to get.
It's super
5
hard
6
to get.
people. Yeah.
It's hard to get 5 people for sure, because you want to play with the exact 5-player.
You need the 5.
Yeah.
From what you've basically said, and having played this with 5, I understand why.
Yeah. New version is coming of El Grande. Okay, let's see.
Oh boy, this is just hitting some things with us right now.
It's back, baby, as of 10 days ago.
Oh,
let's see.
See, I told you it was timely when I was talking about this. It's timely. Things are coming back.
Is it Ghostbusters themed?
It's not, unfortunately, but I do want that. It says, "Why do we have El Grande on the table today? We definitely listened to you." Okay, well, it might come back. That's good. I do like El Grande. It looks like the big box edition too, because the big box edition has the meeples as opposed to it.
Okay.
No, this was Hansum Gluck posted it, so they're probably just, I guess, making a reprint of it.
Well, back in the forums, by the way, 3 down, there was another one that talked about the reprint.
Let's see.
New edition of El Grande right there.
El Grande.
Yeah.
Hope to provide a rule or a variant for the last player at the end of the 2-player. Okay.
Is that saying Ian O'Toole is doing the art for it? Is that what it said?
No, that was one of the comments. Was Ian was asking if he was. I don't think it was stating it.
Okay, so both Mr. Rao and Gabe, you got to play El Grande.
Yes, you do. Gabe, at one of the game nights, I was going to try
Mr. Rao
to
might have
do
played
El
it.
Grande.
It says he hasn't played the expansion modules.
Yeah, I looked at them. I did have this as a big box at one point in time, but I figured since Espen had it, and I could only necessarily play when Espen was here.
You need 5
because you need 5. There would be no way for me to do that. This was pre having a board game group of my own.
Yeah, well, you can always borrow it too, but El Grande is so good. People need to play El Grande more. It's very easy to dismiss El Grande because of the way it looks, how old it is. you know. But again, it's part of the charm. That's part of the charm. There's so much charm in this beige mess of a game.
There is nothing wrong with an older game. Like if an older game is good, it's just good. I mean, there's nothing else to say about that, no matter what it looks like. This one
in particular, even online when we did it with 5 players, I could feel how strong of a design there is in this one.
Yeah.
And that's the real sign when I can play a game online. And again, I this is a bigger game, so in real time. And experience it, okay, I understand how and why people love this. And then I want to play the physical version. Because I still haven't played the actual physical version of this.
That's right. And spoilers, we did a live playthrough on our channel of that. That was a live playthrough we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, El Grande, I could just gush on for 2 hours about El Grande.
You could make a video for that.
I might play it next week. We'll see.
Nice.
We'll see.
But yeah, the suggestion, if you do ever want to play this game, it's quite simple to learn. I would not try to do it on Board Game Arena asynchronously. It's probably the worst game on Board Game Arena to do asynchronously.
I would agree with you there. It's actually, El Grande is an awful async experience.
It is,
because you need to play it live.
You need to play it live, and you need to play it like in real time, just because there's a lot of things that you want to do, a lot of like things that can happen in between your turn that like you really want to be there so that you can remember what it is you're trying to do, because there's actual strategy to this. This is not just like I'm going to put all my cubes in this area. There's actual strategy here that you can. You're probably not going to win.
Yeah.
You may win their area, but that's about it.
We could certainly try to arrange, like I said, some kind of live playthrough of it with the interest there, though, because it as long as it's real time.
Gabe said bummer, and Squirrel, I know you're going to be at Origins next week.
Yes, I am.
Which is exciting, but also a bummer, because I'm likely doing board games for my birthday. So El Grande is likely going to be played.
What day is your birthday thing going to be?
24th, Saturday.
Yeah, I'm definitely being the heart of the heart of things at Origins. So
that's okay though.
But no, thanks for bringing some of these good choices to the table. We knew Battlestar Galactica was going to be discussed. That's not a shock.
And El Grande.
And El Grande was going to be discussed. But I think they're really good games to mention, though, despite the obvious reason that you mentioned them. Because, and what's interesting, one is an IP. One is an IP game. One is not.
Well, it's so bizarre too with Battlestar, because Battlestar, right? Fantasy Flight lost the license, and then there was like a Battlestar miniatures game. Remember that? That was like after they lost the license.
I do remember
like
that. I was trying to
kind of thing.
I was trying to upgrade some of my ships from the actual Battlestar Galactica game with some of those from that minis game,
it's just bring back the good one.
What the figures look like, but yeah.
Yeah, just bring back the good one.
It's also the reason why there's a running joke about, there was a running joke for the longest time of when Marvel Champions is just going to stop. Because Fantasy Flight owns it. When is it just going to stop? Obviously, because continued, but there was even a delay there where there was no communication or quiet. People were legitimately wondering if it was dead.
Yeah.
And then they came back and announced more stuff. But it's forever, because of Battlestar Galactica, I think anytime Fantasy Flight just stops communicating about something, people start to ask questions.
And that's why I feel FOMO when I want to play a game that is tied to an intellectual property.
Yeah.
Because I know that can go. You know, that could go at any moment. And don't get me started with the nonsense with the unmatched people. Like, the Deadpool box just sold out, immediately. That's just, that's just infuriating. What
about the Deadpool?
That it sold out immediately.
Oh, yeah.
Upon release.
Yeah, I still want it, just because I'm trying to complete the Unmatched Marvel set.
Yeah.
I'm getting one at Origins. I'm getting the fourth big box one. But the Deadpool one is people are selling it for $150.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm like, I want it, but it's $150 for.
And that's why I hate about it. I don't know if there's a game that I will pay scalper prices for.
No.
If I didn't have El Grande and still loved El Grande as much as I do, I think the highest I would go is 100.
I think it's about how much it goes for now.
Right. So that's fine, I guess. Right. But I don't know. I remember El Grande. I got like on Facebook on Amazon. It was like $40.
Well, let me pose the question. Let me pose the question out to everyone, and if you watch this after the fact, include it in the comments. What is the most you've paid for an out of print game? In my case, it's approximately, I think, $75. I think to you, Squirrel, which was for the first expansion,
Pegasus, right?
which was Pegasus. Mm-hmm. It didn't have the box. I didn't care. Everything is in the main box.
Yeah.
Like
everything was in shrink.
Yeah,
but like, yeah, unplayed in the box in shrink. Because I had that's when at one point in time I had all the expansions.
Right.
Yeah.
And I sold the big two. And I was like, you were looking for the expansion. I was like, all right, I'll give it to you at a discount because like it was still expensive at the time. I just gave it to you for 70.
Gabe did 150 for Madeira.
Madeira. All right.
Wow. And they're supposed to still come out with a Madeira big box, but the whole what's your game thing is a whole different
thing. That's a question if it's ever gonna happen. Right?
Yeah, that is a good question because one of their major games, Shangguo, which is my favorite of their series,
that's supposed to be coming.
It's getting reprinted.
Yeah,
but not by What's Your Game.
Right.
So I'm wondering if they're completely out now. That's the question.
Right. I remember rushing to Time Warp, our local game shop, when it was announced that Tasty Minstrel was going under. I'm I gotta get Yokohama. I just gotta go get it. So I just paid retail price. That's the thing, like I pay retail price. Like I remember when Tree Frog was ditching Discworld. And I remember that board game shop nearby me has it. I'm just gonna go run and get it. I know you have the crazy expensive one.
So you had a question of what's the most you've paid for an out of print game?
It's that one, right?
So it's that one. Now note that you had the Mayfair version, which is a square box which had space and it had the turtle on it.
Right.
All right, so go ahead and go there. I'm going to show you the version that I got, and it's not for me. Go into versions if you don't mind.
Yeah.
And you're looking for a box with slightly different art.
Yeah, this one's the one you have.
No, that's not the one I have. I have the one below it.
Below it.
Yeah. So this is 1 out of 500. There's only 500 made in the world, apparently, supposedly, and they have resin. Tokens instead of wood tokens.
It's nuts. Like, look at this.
I got it new in
not
seal.
painted. It's just as is. Yeah.
And those houses, those rickety shack looking houses, that came with it too. And those are resin as well.
Yeah.
That I got for my wife a couple of years ago for her birthday, and that brought me up $400, even though it was meant to be somewhere in the 700s.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But I bought it, and I have a video of me unboxing it.
Yeah.
Bringing down the value a couple $100 with her, and we still have it. Yeah,
but you know what? But at least you're buying it because you know it's gonna get played.
Yeah,
you know it's gonna.
That's the difference.
Get loved. You know,
twice.
Like I spent $100 on a Japanese Ghostbusters board game. I still haven't touched it. It's all it's unpunched.
Keep it unpunched, man. It looks so beautiful as is.
Yeah.
By the way, we got some more deals in there. It looks like D-Nick's talking getting Shadows over Camelot for 60, which is great.
Wow, well done. Steal. Well done. Yeah.
That is a steal. Brian talking about so many games, and I think it's a fair point for many people. There's so many games. What game's going to grab you that much?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's when you are have a completionist attitude for a certain game. Like for me with Battlestar Galactica, it is about just the completionist factor of I want them all. I don't care if I have the boxes. I want the components.
But he got Battlestar for 50.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
The fun thing about Battlestar Galactica is you guys know me as a completionist and a deluxionist. I don't know what you want to call it.
Whatever you call yourself.
I upgrade everything, and if I have a game and I like it a lot, I get everything for it, including like promos and like.
Call it excessive.
Stuff. Yeah, very much. Battlestar Galactica, I've played it. The base game, I've played the base game like, I don't know, 4 or 5 times, and I played it with Pegasus once.
Yeah.
I never tried it with Exodus. I've never tried it with Daybreak. But after playing it with Pegasus, I was like, I still like the base game better.
Yeah.
So that's the one game that I have that I'm not going to get everything else for again.
And even then, I remember when Pegasus came out, people were saying, when I asked them, people should I get Pegasus? They're like, what's nice is the Cylon ships.
Yeah,
the plastic
Cylon
ones.
ships I added back.
Other than that, you could skip the rest of it.
Yeah, so there's like, what is there? Like, there's 4 seasons of Battlestar Galactica. Literally, the first season is the first game,
It's the
second
first
season,
game.
second
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
So,
Well, before you, by the way, before you do go anywhere, anything up with you? Obviously, working on the podcast. Want to make
Oh.
sure you have a chance to share what you guys been up to.
yeah, so we just released, I think, episode number 97 today.
Oh.
Yeah, so we're getting there. We're going to have an episode live from Origins, which is going to be 98.
Nice.
And then we're going to have our 100th episode special. So, tune in for that. But I will, if you're part of the Discord, which you should be if you're a part of this, go to the Tabletop Express Discord. I'm sure you'll pop the information in the chat soon.
You say this.
I will post our today's episode, which is all about focusing on the Guild of Merchant Explorers, by the way. Which, have you played that yet?
Yeah,
Yes.
we both played it.
Good.
I love that.
Did you enjoy it? Yeah. Okay.
I did enjoy it.
I just got the expansions recently for it as
Yes. Yeah. I just heard about the expansion not too long ago too. So we were talking about that, and yeah, we talk about a number of things, but for the most part, what we're expecting and looking forward to in Origins.
For a blank and right, it's pretty good.
Yes, we called it a flip, and I called it a flipping cube.
Yeah. I mean, I get it because it's a lot of like erasing and then re-putting back in if you were doing it with paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're interested in all that, look us up. We're the Level Up Board Game Podcast, right there. And yeah, we're just a podcast talks about board games when we have like a topic, and yeah, we have an 8-bit video game kind of theme to the whole episode thing. Yeah.
All right. Cool. All right, dude.
All right. Take
Have a
care,
good night.
everyone.
See you
I'll
later.
stay in
See
the
you in the
comments,
chat.
and yeah, I'll see you in the chat.
Yeah, see you in the chat.
All right, bye.
Later.
We see Brian Chandler, by the way, talk about holding out for Star Wars Epic Duels at his
Yeah,
first
but-
shop.
Dan, the enabler, found it for $5. Missing some pieces, but still $5.
3D printer. I mean, you.
And like that's the thing. Like, so how much? Let me ask you something too. How much does nostalgia play into factor? Because I remember like Hero Quest was like this crazy treasured item, and then all of a sudden, boom! Hey, Kyle Rowan's in the chat. Good
Hey,
to see
Kyle.
ya.
We're talking about games we'd love to see brought back. Though it's really fascinating because as we're talking tonight, a lot of these games apparently are coming back.
Literally every game we've talked about so far is coming back.
Yeah, which is hilarious. I mean, and as I was knowing, I kind of said it briefly, but like Ex Libre, which is it was one of the coolest, by the way, components wise in terms of books.
Yeah.
I love the book component in it. That's like the coolest thing I can tell you about the game. A lot of people really did enjoy this game. It was not for me.
Yeah.
But this game coming back with expansions, like I was going into this thinking about it and like, oh yeah, I forgot about the Ex Libre. I had sold that one, and then boom, I saw it's come back. So the topic is very fascinating. Plus, you've got Restoration Games who are just dropping
Oh yeah.
like awesome games back into our universe with this higher component quality than prior.
And their whole shtick too is they take the game, the nostalgia game,
Yep.
and then they rework it. So it goes against what I was saying before, which
Right.
is bring it back. Like Fireball
is-
Island, they reworked it,
Yes,
and sure, it's better for sure.
but it is not. It's a new edition.
Right.
It is not necessarily. There's major changes that
Right.
get made. Yeah.
The Lord of the Rings Confrontation reprint. I don't know this one.
Let's look this one up.
Let's see.
Yeah, and again, friendly reminder for anyone, if you would like to call in, call
Let's see.
dashaboard.com.
Oh, the Knizia game. So Lord of the Rings Confrontation. This 2002 one, and then
Hide your
it says
force and intentions from the opponent.
There's a 2005 one.
Get Frodo to the Mordor Stratego style.
Yeah.
Okay. That.
Well, they
Stratego.
now Eric Lang and Christian Peterson's on top of it too. Cool.
Yeah, interesting.
I haven't tried it. Oh yeah, Dark Tower. Yeah.
The original, and that is true because there are games that stand out. Like, I people can laugh at me, but like I was thinking about the fact that I never owned the game, but I remembered the chaos that was when everyone played a game of, say, like Mall of Madness.
Oh yeah.
And then, if you told me, hey, want to play a game of Mall of Madness, I would
Electronic Mall of Madness.
Yeah, I would be like, heck yeah, sure,
Yeah.
let's do it, right? So, I do think nostalgia plays a part there because it didn't have to be a game. It's just some of these games stood out.
Yeah.
I have a copy in my car right now of Stratego.
Yeah.
That was someone had in my office, gave away for free, and it's basically, I wouldn't call it, the box is not near mint, but the stuff inside is near mint.
Yeah.
From like the day it came out.
Yeah.
Like, so I was like, I grabbed that.
Yeah.
Now I've got an old beaten down one, so I'm just replacing really, but they made certain games better then, which is what's really interesting to me, because Stratego is made better.
Yeah.
And when you talk about, obviously these mainline games, it was made better then. Now you have to put the stickers on the Stratego stuff yourself.
Yeah.
Then it's imprinted on. So
I agree, by the way, Brian. I totally buy that Mad Magazine board game again. I loved that as a kid too.
I don't know if I played that.
You never played it?
No.
It's just basically Monopoly, but the whole point was, I think it was to lose money.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I was really little. I don't remember really playing by the rules as much of like laughing at the art. Let me pull that up. That's a good one.
I really was not familiar.
Yeah,
with
everyone
this.
starts with $10,000. First to lose all their money wins.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Yeah. And it was like nonsense, you know? If you can jump up and stay airborne for 37 seconds, you can lose 5,000. If not, jump up and lose 500, you know?
What?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
But, again, like, I would totally get that if they made, like, an anniversary edition thing,
Right.
you know? As, like, a... And here's the thing. So, Squirrel brought up, Hero Quest didn't make changes, just added stuff, so it's great reprint if you're into the new figures. And the thing is, I really think Hero Quest was an awful decision for reprinting on how they did it, because Hero Quest, you know, was like that mass market game at toy stores. And now they're kind of reprinting it, but then targeting it to a specific audience, which is like they want to pay for miniatures and stuff like that. And I feel like it lost that charm of what it was, which was like the kids like dungeon crawler, you know? The Mad Magazine game, like if they just reprinted it as is, I'm cool with that.
Right.
You know? Yeah, but man, that was a good choice. Oh, wooden box vintage version. Yeah, I think I have that of Risk. I used to have that of Risk.
Yeah. I think too, we're talking about there is a resurgence. There's a resurgence of many of these games because some of the companies out there.
Yeah.
Because people do see the demand. The challenge still is, we talked about, when there's an IP attached.
Right.
But a lot of these people are excited to bring the games back, so it's neat.
Yeah.
I just, you talk about Restoration Games in particular and what they're doing. I do think it's important.
Yeah.
They are changing the game, yes, but I still think what they're doing is
Well, they're
a great
most
thing.
right. It's Thunder Road.
Thunder
right?
Road's the new one.
Thunder Road's their new one. So this is the original Thunder Road. Thunder Road Vendetta, I believe it's called, right? Right. This is the OG Thunder Road, and then Thunder Road Vendetta. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're changing it up. I still haven't played the new one.
I have not played the new one.
Yeah.
It's exciting to see some of the stuff come back. I'm interested what else people would like to see come back. I will say there are certain games that have just not gone away, but they seem like they kind of seem like they've been gone.
All right, this is what I need to bring up. So, Studying Emerald, right? Here's the OG. Here's the second edition. I'll start with the OG, just to kind of show you how wacky and crazy and weird this game is.
You have talked so much about this one.
I love this game. Like, look at this. It's like, okay, these are all just painted miniatures. You can ignore those because they don't come with the game. But this is like the actual board, you know? Like, look how crazy this looks, okay? It's a deck builder, semi-cooperative board game where you are on different roles, and it's like set in Sherlock Holmes Cthulhu world, that because Neil Gaiman did like a whole story called Studying Emerald, and it's fantastic. And they took that and made like this really crazy game that takes about 30 minutes to explain. The first edition is phenomenal. I look at this crazy art in it, like it's going all over the place. First edition for sure for 100. That's not a bad deal. Cause I think I backed the Kickstarter when it first came out. And I think I want to say I spent like maybe $80 for it. And it's phenomenal. It's a weird game. It's a game that is so like a blender of broken things. It's in that Martin Wallace vein of, because some of his games are, very economic, and the other ones are just like crazy. What is going on in this? And this is very much that kind of side of things. I love this one. Like one of my favorite parts about this game is that you don't know who's on your team. At the end of the game, the player who's in last place, whatever team they're in, they're just out of the game. They lose.
So what is that? Scroll talking about the second board looking way too dark. What does the second board look like?
Yeah, so this is the first edition. Just crazy looking all over the place. The second edition, let's go to that.
Because I'm.
And the thing is, they streamlined.
Even the
well, but
the box cover looks darker, but I don't see the map.
Yeah, like here's the board right here. Like it doesn't have that wacky map going on. Oh geez, it's like way too big. There we go. Like it doesn't have that wacky map going on anymore.
Yeah.
It's got, and I know now. Remember how I said the player who's in last place, their team just loses.
Yeah.
Player in last place, that team just loses 5 points. Every player on that team loses 5 points. I think like they streamlined it, but I like the wonk and how dumb in a great way it was.
Got it.
Like this is my kind of jam. But yeah, it's not as nice looking, It just looks just a little boring. Look, I mean, that board, and that's honestly why when I backed the original, I was like, man, that board looks crazy. I don't know anything about this, but I want to play this. Yeah, it is bland, And then again, going back to just the crazy tentacle, misshapen, Indiana Jones kind of tracks.
I enjoy the little tentacles kind of going along the tracks, but you still can read the tracks.
Yeah.
It's not like they're illegible.
Yeah. Oh, it's such a weird game. You got to play this one.
Well, challenge people if they've got any weird games they'd like to see come back. Give us a call. Call-aboard.
I know one game you're getting rid of that is out of print, but it's also because I own a copy.
Which one is that?
Bus.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, and full disclosure, that is the reason I'm getting rid of it. You own a copy.
I own a copy.
No one else wants to play this with me anyways.
I will play it with
you. But you.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, I would rather, as I've said before, I'd rather my copy be in a home with someone that is going to
have Martin Wallace sign my copy? Oh, man. Here, I'll give you the box lid. That'd be cool. But yeah.
Let's talk about Bus, though. This is a wacky game.
Yeah, Bus is great. Bus is it's one of the earliest examples of worker placement games.
Mm-hmm.
It's designed by Splotter. So in this game, you are given all your workers at the beginning of the game. And you could go as crazy as you want with the worker placement stops. You're trying to take different passengers from their home to work, and then from work to the pub, and then from the pub to home. And you're using these bus lines to do it. And then there's time travel.
I know, and I like how you casually say it because I think that's the thing that got me with this one. And then there's time travel.
Yeah.
And it's what drew my attention to this game initially, because I do in the limited time that I've actually got a chance to play it. I think once, 2 times at most.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. It's more a matter for me of the who to play it with, etc. But it also. It's a fascinating game, and when you go back to what year was it? Was it 1999? 99, I think. Yeah. You look at it being the first worker placement game, and I like
one of the first.
Yeah,
not the first,
but one of the first. It's amongst the first. That excites me, to be able to have played this one, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you do need at least 3, and we did play with 3. And Squirrel, I think I had it when we played it. Because I remember buying it on sale. I don't remember if it was before or after, though. Because I didn't buy it like at retail price. I waited for it to go on sale. But now there's copies of it that are hard to get. Because Splotter does their games. Like, a lot of their games are done, like, by them.
Right.
And they're just putting out a run. That's it. Once it's out, they'll consider doing a reprint. Unless it's like Food Chain, then Food Chain pretty much comes
right. And mine was was one of the other reprints.
Well,
of it.
with Bust, they licensed it out, right?
Is that what it was?
They licensed it out to Capstone Games.
That's how it happened. Yeah.
And Capstone did a phenomenal job with their edition.
Yes.
But I think the license there just ended. So now who knows when
I feel like Bust is one that will eventually come back.
It could. Yeah.
I feel like Bust is one that will eventually come back. But right now people are clamoring for it. If you were to look at what people want for this game right now, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of money.
Some of these are crazy.
300, 200. I don't think I would suggest people buy Bust for 200 or 300.
I can't.
And I really love Bust too. Greed Incorporated, I know, is coming back. Well, it might be coming back. There's also a Splotter game that is just like bizarre looking, but it's supposed to come back. Because that's the thing with Splotter games, they're hard to get, and then when you do get them, they're that limited run, and you got to find like a audience for them. Yep. Like I still have my copy of Horseless Carriage over there.
Yeah.
I gotta just get the group for it. I think you gotta muster up the courage, man.
Oh God,
you could do it. You could do it.
Off camera, we can have that conversation. Might need bribing. No.
But yeah, like Splotter is a great example of games that are going out of print, and I'd love to see them, bring back some more Splotter games.
Yeah. Well, I'll give it. I will obviously just remind people to call dashboard.com. Allow you to call in, talk about some games that you would like to see come back. And of course, our friendly reminder as well, as I said at the top, we do 2 episodes of Call Aboard a month. One of our episodes is just calling in with the games that you've played. So topically, next episode, very topically, easy to kind of have something for. So think about that as you're listening, hearing what we're talking about. Consider what you might want to talk about next one. If people chime in, we'll bring them on, but maybe we can jump into some of these.
We could.
Hear reviews.
We could. I mean, I do have a question, too, if you are watching and have a game in your collection that is out of print that you don't want it to leave. And, like...
Ooh, that's a good question.
You know what I mean? Like, El Grande for sure is mine. Like, that's out of print, but it's never leaving my collection.
Battlestar Galactica won't leave.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've got Battlestar Galactica with the first expansion. If I never have the second, third expansion, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
In the long run, I would love them, but I generally will play that first expansion. Yeah. That one's pretty important to me, probably the most important.
Yeah.
Though Shadows of Camelot's not leaving either at the moment. I do like Shadows of Camelot because I do like that thematic of the Knights of the Round Table.
You know the expansion, right? There's like a Merlin expansion.
I wish I had the Merlin's expansion.
People, clamor for that one.
People clamor for that one. I would clamor for that one too. But I don't. I'm similar to Brian on this.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go spend
$200,
$300 on one. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Danielle's saying Gentle Rain is a game recently finally got. I always keep in my collection. Yeah, out of print currently. I remember you posting that one. It did look pretty cool.
Yeah, that looked neat. And there's other games that I later find are out of print. Like Clans of Caledonia, when I realized that at the time was out of print, and this was a while back, I said, oh, I didn't even realize that. I mean, I wasn't getting rid of it anytime soon.
Yeah.
Still my top 50. But I think sometimes it's interesting. Games go out of print, but they come back. And that's the thing. A lot of these games do come back. The print runs just happen in the way that they do.
Yeah, until they don't. And the thing is, like, okay, here's a good example. Right? I rushed to get this game. This is, I'm going to pull a Wiz War, right? Sorry, this is the wrong Wiz War. No, that's the right one. Yeah. So, Wiz War, right? an older game. Here's the original one. Let me pull up the original one. 1983. Okay, beer and pretzels kind of game, where you are just wizards fighting out a war. Right.
All right.
It's just you're running, collecting treasure, kind of like mess with your neighbor kind of thing. I always wanted to play this one, and I rushed out when I finally saw a used copy of it. I picked it up, and I still haven't played it. This is the one I have, the Fantasy Flight one. So I have that one with one of the expansions, right? So I didn't play it, and the thing is, like, how this game is described, this is very much like a Cosmic Frog kind of vibe to it.
Oh, so it's
now it's like,
oh yeah,
do I even try this game now? Because I already have Cosmic Frog.
Yeah.
I don't think I need 2 games like this in my collection. And then, on top of that, right, there's a new edition coming out.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find that one. I saw it on the forum just below. Maybe it's over.
Squirrel said to look at the terrible Wiz War 9th edition.
That's exactly what I'm getting to. The 9th edition looked awful. Yeah, hang on. Let me see if I can find 9th edition.
And by the way, to Kyle, yeah, you should be excited about Find Muck. We had a great time being able to play it, and I can just tell you it is well
Here
worth
it
it.
is.
Not on topic, but I want to make sure we address this.
All right, Wiz War 8th edition, right? Here it is in all its glory. Just, it doesn't look like crazy much, but, it's miniatures and they're fighting on the board. 9th edition.
Yo, you gotta, yeah, he said you're staying under the...
Here's 9th edition.
This is 9th edition?
This is 9th edition. Yeah, I just wanted to show 8th edition.
It looks like a WizKids type.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Steve Jackson.
Steve Jackson games.
Okay, it looks like a Steve Jackson games. That makes sense.
Like, what is going on?
I have nothing wrong with... There's nothing wrong with Steve Jackson. It's just a very distinct look.
It changes the vibe of it completely, but I haven't played... Look, I haven't played 8th or 9th or 1st. I haven't played any Wiz War.
There's no real photos here.
Yeah. I don't know. Not impressed with the way it looked, just as is. But we'll see what it looks like.
It looks like The Good Father.
Looks like The
Good Father. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, The Godfather, right?
No. He's saying The Good Father.
Wait.
The Godfather...
He was in with the train.
I understand, but I used to watch the WWF.
Yeah.
There was one point where there's a storyline where the Godfather became the Good Father, and he wasn't, with the pimps and the hoes.
Oh, okay.
He was the Good Father.
Man. But Kyle, for sure, very excited about Find Muck. Because
So I'm looking at it right now. It's right there. It might be
it's
the
so
only.
Good.
It might be the only one.
And that's the thing. The more I play Cosmic Frog, I know it's going to be like El Grande now, I feel like, where any area control game I compare to El Grande. Cosmic Frog has a crazy, over-the-top vibe. I want to see how it compares with Wiz War, or how Wiz War, rather, compares with Cosmic Frog.
Right.
So, yeah. Sometimes they just change the art. Study Emerald. Wiz War. Yeah. It's just how it goes. Sometimes just,
Yeah, and... I will just say, like I said, sometimes there's just games I don't realize are out of print, but I don't go crazy unless I really dig down and see that, the IP has expired or something else, and then I'm jumping. I will mention, from an out-of-print game, it's coming back, because that seems to be the theme tonight. It's not just games that are out of print, but that we happen to find they're coming back. But Martian Dice.
Oh, yeah.
I happened to get a copy of Martian Dice at our friendly local game store.
Speaking of Steve Jackson games.
Yeah, speaking of Steve Jackson games. But Martian Dice, it's such a stupid little game.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't sit here and even say this game is nothing.
No, it's just tossing dice.
It's just tossing dice, chucking dice, and it's so much fun.
Yeah.
And it is push your luck because you're trying to collect, the 3 different types of dice. If you bring up even that stack of dice, it's fine. You're trying to get these dice, and you want to be able to collect, ideally. Yes, it is on BGA and it's great, but I wanted the physical copy with the can. So you get the cow, the human, and the chicken. You get at least one of each of those, and you're going to get some extra bonus points. But you got to be able to fight off the military. So in the military, you're the aliens in this.
Right.
So, but
right, because anytime you roll a tank, it just stays out there.
Yeah, the tanks.
It's like Yahtzee style, but anytime you roll a tank, it's locked
so
in.
much fun. I can't play. Everyone ever wants to play this. I'll just play a silly game on BGA with you. But I love chucking the dice.
So if Gabe is still in the chat, he going back to that vassal law, right? There's a game that I don't know if it's really ever going to come back because of a lot of bringing it back. That's Glory to Rome.
The moment you started typing Glory, I knew what you were typing.
Glory to Rome. Yeah, this completely skipped my mind, but for sure, this is in that reprint. A lot of people want this game. I played it once.
Right.
I thought it was okay. I'll play it. I'm not gonna go out of my way.
But what is a lot of people? Because it has to be demand a reprint.
No, the demand is huge for a Glory to Rome reprint.
Right.
People love Glory to Rome.
I'm just saying as a general whole, look, that demand's got to be.
Is it actually worth the selling prices? So, yeah, someone's selling for $200. Wait, this is €200, right? Yeah. Or is that pound? I don't know. No, it's pound. That's pound. And with this game, I know people actually have been printing their own copies of it. There's files where you could just print out your own copies of this game because, for the amounts of money that you're spending for it, you can get a cheaper version if you just make it yourself.
There is something to owning the actual piece,
and that's
even
the thing.
when people
they did
have done
this Kickstarter campaign, and they're never doing that Kickstarter campaign again.
Yeah.
Well,
you may have that. You may have that with Firefly.
Oh yeah.
Because Firefly on GameFound right now, they say we're not doing this again. Is this the end? I'm not suggesting this is.
That's the complete edition.
The complete edition. I'm not suggesting it's but that edition, which I think retails $220 on GameFound.
Yeah.
I think that includes the base playmat, but not the expansion playmat. But the fact is, Firefly has this talk about an IP that has a passion behind it. Yeah. Firefly fans of Firefly, and I am one of them, love Firefly.
Sure.
And yeah, I look at this, and when they say they're making this and then they're done,
yeah,
I really think this particular version is going to become one of those items that just becomes so expensive.
Yeah.
I don't know, but you're going to get that 20th anniversary edition type thing. Do you know what I mean? I really feel like this may be, I could be wrong, but, yeah, I'll back this.
Are you backing it?
I'm going to.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. I need this. I can't. You want to talk about FOMO? I can't potentially not have it because I have the base game.
Yeah.
I'll probably sell or give away the base game to someone, to the library or something, or I don't know, or maybe add it to the
sell pile.
The sell. Oh man, maybe I'll just add it to our
Patreon
giveaway, Patreon giveaway. Patreon library. But Firefly, huge IP, but yeah, people love it. They've added so much to this. The value really is there on this one. I mean, I don't need to try and sell this, quite frankly, because I really think the value is there. They've made it hard to not want it if you're a Firefly fan.
Yeah, it contains every expansion ever made, every promo card printed, and introduces the new expansion. Still flying.
Yeah, it's $400 MSRP for $220. It's something like that. So they've made it. They've made it very, something to want.
I forgot all about Mechs versus Minions.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Bring that one up, because...
Pull that up. And this one just came with, the painted minis and, the really nice box,
And is this completely out of print right now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is that how it just came?
Yeah.
It just came with those, beautifully painted minis?
Yeah.
Oh, man. They're shiny. Yes. Shiny.
Firefly reference.
Yes, it is a...
Pretty sure. Maybe it's not. Let's go. Oh, it may not be. Someone's selling for $150. And I feel like that's not bad. Hang on. There's a whole...
It's available on their website. It's what Gabe is saying.
Oh, okay.
But
I think that's the only place you could buy it too.
Right.
For a long time.
But when you do have those sites that only sell on the website, I mean, how many out of print games? Some of the games we're reviewing tonight, quite frankly, are games that are going to be out of print at one point simply because they only make so many of them.
Yeah, they're 95. Oh, I heard such bad things about this Tellstones thing. You heard about that game?
No.
I heard bad things.
Bad things?
Yeah. Mechs vs. Minions, I heard a lot of good things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another question. I mentioned this before. I've done this with board games where if I hear it's going out of print, I'm going to rush and buy it, right?
I'll at least look for it, yeah.
Yokohama, as soon as I heard it was, Taste of Minstrel, I ran. Not ran, but, I drove.
I bought one of those copies online when the store was selling them all.
Yeah. The one I'm very happy that I did end up getting. So when Warhammer was ending their Games Workshop, right, was ending their license with Fantasy Flight. I got 2 games. One of them I sold. It's Chaos in the Old World because I played it, did not like it. Forbidden Stars I got though, and I don't think that's ever coming back. Maybe with a different theme, it'll come back. Let me share this tab instead. Forbidden Stars is a great kind of 4X kind of game, but it also works really well with 2 players. It's a 4X that works at a very low, player count.
And about a 2 to 3 hour game?
Yeah. Yeah, I really like this one a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have not played this one, so put this on the running list.
You should play it. It's good. And everyone has different faction powers. And there was an expansion in the works that never went forward with. Yeah, but there's print and play versions of it, of the expansions. And look, the designer has like a redo version. This last active 4 days ago.
We got Squirrel saying, I have Forbidden Stars.
You could play mine before you decide to open it or not.
Yeah.
It's a great game. Space Hulk is a good one too. So I know someone that has every edition of Space Hulk. There's like 4 editions, I believe. So
it's like you have all the Ghostbusters stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it's... Yeah.
No.
I don't have all of them. There's one I purposely didn't buy.
That's something considering how bad some of them are.
I just got to a point like I don't need this. I'll wait for it on clearance. But yeah, Sam Bailey, his dreams of the Forbidden Stars expansion died, but he has ideas of bringing it back to new life, and this has still been active. 55 pages later, it's a good game though. You should play it.
Okay,
you should
put it on the list.
Yeah, if anyone has an opportunity to play Forbidden Stars and likes the kind of thing of like, asynchronous powers in a 4X game that plays at a low player count. Like,
there's a game I was thinking about the other day. And the name slipped my mind, but I've seen it in the Barnes Noble shelves before in the Cell Pilots. It involves the ocean. It's slipping my mind. I think it's
Is it Oceans?
No, it's not Oceans.
You're thinking of...
you own it.
Yeah, you slide the card in. Yeah. What's that one you call... why is it escaping my mind?
Yeah, it's slipping my mind.
I played it with Scroll on Tabletop Simulator.
It's bugging me because I...
Oh, Aquatica.
Aquatica, that's it.
I thought it's over my head.
Yeah.
It's over there.
I've always heard good things about Aquatica. Yeah.
Aquatica.
See, I knew...
That's not out of print, though.
I thought that was out of... Or is it just hard to get?
Is it? Is it out of print? No,
it's not. For some reason, I thought it was going out of print. I don't know why.
I don't know.
No, it just got some awards, so I was wrong.
It's a good game.
Yeah. What about Manhattan Project Energy Empire? The expansion...
Oh, yeah.
Was picked up 2 or so years later, but another company, and then they stopped producing it. See, that's the interesting, too. Sometimes a game does well, another company picks it up, and just says, you know what, we're good.
I think that had to do with the owner of the company dying, too.
Ooh, that's...
Manhattan Project Energy Empire, right? That was Minion Games.
Minion.
Yeah. And the owner, he passed away. And I don't know... I think there was like this whole thing with where that expansion was going. It did come out, though. Right?
Did it actually?
Yeah, here it is right here. Yeah.
The Cold War.
Cold War. Yeah.
Interesting.
Grail Games. There you go.
Yeah,
but didn't something happen with Grail Games? Didn't they go under? I feel like they went under.
Oh.
I think both Grail Games and Holy Grail Games both went under. I think. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Gabe does have this expansion.
Oh, there you go.
So.
Wait, okay. Hey, dive in. What did happen? Right? I think they went under. I think that was the case.
They went under,
Holy Grail Games.
But they still delivered all their stuff out. It sounds like based on what he's saying.
Okay.
Because.
Well, I know one of them, right? Like Rallyman, Dirt, that one. Who has that one? Because they went under too. And they have like a warehouse just Rallyman Dirt. I think it's not going anywhere. That's Holy Grail Games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy. Grail Games was purchased, I believe.
Yeah, it's nearly died. He died when he's nearly done with expansion. Holy Grail took it years later, finished expansions, and delivered it. And then stopped making more.
French Rallyman.
So they finished his work and said, we're not going to do this anymore, but we're going to honor his...
Right, he didn't design it. He was just the company.
Right, but they're going to honor the work that his company was doing. And then they were done.
Yeah. Right, Minion Games.
Minion's got...
Yeah, it says inactive.
Yeah, Minion has... That's where my Dead Man Tell No Tales.
Dead Man Tell No Tales was from there.
Yep.
Which now Renegade has a license?
Renegade, I believe.
Yeah, Renegade has a license now.
Yeah, because I did like my Dead Man Tell No Tales.
So there you go.
And then,
sometimes companies will pick it up. You know, Yokohama hasn't picked up yet.
No.
I think. But Orleans was picked up. Crusaders Thy Will Be Done was picked up from Tasty Minstrel too. I think Renegade picked that one up.
So stuff is coming back. That's for sure. Lots of stuff. So that's why this conversation I think was so interesting.
Except Glory to Rome. Yeah. There you go. Until one day, I guess we'll come back and then they'll say, I told you so. Well, did you though? I guess. You know? Okay, cool. You want to jump into a review?
Yeah. So just so everybody knows, we have a few games we want to review this week. One thing I will be doing over the course of time as well, so everybody watching knows, is separating some of these reviews out into their own videos, just to make them easy to share and find. But we're also going to continue to chapter these videos, so you'll be able to find them here as well. We have a few videos here. We mentioned them at the top. First one is The Field of the Cloth of the Gold.
The Field of the Cloth of the Gold.
Yes, that is the title of the game.
Designed by Annabelle Holland from Holland Spiel Games. Okay. In this game, you are taking on the role of either the King of England or the King of France. You both hate each other, right? But you want to be gracious and give gifts. Passively aggressive give gifts.
Passive aggressive gift giving. The game. Yes.
Yeah. It's a 20-minute board game that is very much like stab your neighbor kind of thing.
Yeah.
This game was not, by the way. I purchased it after we had Annabelle on the channel.
Right.
The next day there was a sale on their site, so I bought this one. I bought Endurance. I bought Islet, and I bought Nicaea. And I didn't know what to expect with this game at all. Like, the box just, here, I got the box right here. Like it looks like this.
Yeah. Which is like most of the games from.
Right, because they do their own games. But in this game, what you're doing is you are taking your worker, which is either the blue or red worker, right?
Yep.
And you're placing it out onto these circle spots. So you'll see So you see this circled spot right here. These are the places where the workers can go. On the top, it indicates what action you perform. And on the bottom is the gift tile.
Yep.
And whenever you move your worker onto a spot, you are going to give that gift tile to your opponent. Okay? So congratulations. You now have this yellow tile in your display. And then you just do whatever that action tells you. Usually it's just scoring tiles that are in your display and then discarding them.
Yep.
Because what's going to go on is throughout the game, you're going to get different points. The game is going to end when one player reaches 30 or when the last tile in the bag has gone away.
And I've played it now with you twice, and all the tiles gone has happened in both games before.
I've never seen a game where it goes to 30. So once that happens, though, at the end of the game, you're going to count up your scores. And what's interesting to note is that on these score tracks, there's this little left-hand side, and there's two different numbers. One of them, with this black square, indicates that when you go to a spot with a black square, that's how many tiles you draw from the bag. So when you're in lower point scores, you only draw 1, then 2, then 2, then 3. And then there's this gold square. And when your marker is in that particular row, at the end of the game, you're going to cash in all your gold that you have in front of you. Yep. And if you have a lot of gold, you want a low point score, because that means each of your goals will be worth 3 points. As soon as you pass and go to 16 points, your goal is not worth 2, worth 1. It's rough.
Yeah, and when you talk about the gameplay mechanics of this, it has a very neat factor, which is there's only going to be a few spots open at any given time.
Yeah.
And you're moving one of your existing pieces from one spot, making it available again, and moving it to another spot.
Yeah.
And very often, gold just kept coming out, as an example. And no matter what I would do, I'd have to give you gold.
Yeah.
Or a yellow tile. The other thing is you have the second edition. Is it the second?
It's the 503rd anniversary edition.
Is it the day?
I don't know. This is 503rd anniversary edition.
Regardless, this has these amulets. There's 6 of these jewels. And these jewels are really important because they go up by multipliers. So every jewel that you have in your display, it's 4 points.
Well, it's
9 point, right? It depends how many you have.
The number of jewels you have, you just score it squared, right? So if I have 1 jewel in my display at the end of the game,
it's 4.
I have 1 point. No, 1.
Yeah. Oh, 1. I'm sorry.
1 squared is 1.
Right.
So I have 2.
2 squared is 4.
2 squared is 4. Right.
3 squared, you get to the math.
Right. Exactly.
But
it's 9.
Yeah, I know. Because then it goes 9, then it goes 16. Just I know. 4 squared by 4 is 6. I know enough.
So the thing about these is that they only score if they're in your display.
Yep.
And whenever you give out different tiles to the other player, they go right into that player's display, right? So you could really see if they have a lot of gold. Try getting them some jewels, because jewels are going to score first, and their gold is going to be useless.
Yes.
But you don't have to give them too much jewels, because then they'll have a lot of points.
There's such a balance in this game and a decision making, and if you're the type of person... So, from a mechanics perspective, but actually, first, we've covered game mechanics here. I do want to hit on something very important here. This game, by the way, as you said, 15 to 20 minutes. These games are quick. It may be able to be at a filler length, but it is not at the cost of strategy.
Right.
And that's what I think is in particularly important about this. The components are that of what you've seen from other Annabelle Holland games.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing. It's just a fact that now the little chits, the little red and blue chits, solid quality.
They're almost like particle board.
Yeah.
That type of cardboard they're using.
It's a thin cloth for your actual board. And then you've got the little tokens. So I would say, it's what you're going to expect from them. They're consistent.
Yeah.
So I think that's fair to say. From a cost perspective,
$30.
$30.
Yeah.
And from my perspective, there's a whole lot of game in here. And actually, can make a note really quick about components. Everything that they make is designed to be with this environmentally friendly.
Oh, sorry.
That's a big reason behind this. It's all handmade with it's fair to say probably handmade with love, right?
Yeah.
So that sustainability is there. So that's important.
I'm gonna go to this tab instead.
Yeah.
So the only place you could buy Hollandspiele games, like if for new, is Hollandspiele's site.
Yes.
So it's $30 there, and that gives you this game.
Yeah. In terms of it, audience.
Niche.
It's definitely niche.
Well,
to some extent, but At the same time, I could also teach this to. I think I could teach this pretty easily. I'm not going to teach this to someone as the first game I teach them, but if you like, if it was a board gamer,
Yeah.
I could teach this to someone who has that genuine interest in games. This falls into a world. I compare it very much to a lot of games that I do like. If you can't tell, I did really like this game. I mean, Ryan messaged me. I had shared it. I think it was on Discord or he messaged. It's like, you're really going to like this game. And if you're a fan of 2-player games, if you're looking for something to be able to play and you know you have one other person to play with, I think this game fits that audience.
Yeah.
I really feel like it does.
And it's not hard to understand.
No.
Because it's a 20-minute game. Like, in terms of approachability, it's very straightforward.
Yeah.
You know?
But
So,
yeah, I mean, if you like games like, though, I think Targi or a lot of those, like, head-to-head Watergate, you have to make decisions. Your decisions are going to impact your opponent and make them change. And you cannot plan 5 moves ahead in this game. It's just not that type of game.
Yeah.
Then you're probably going to like this game.
yeah, if you like games where you're constantly pivoting your strategy and constantly catching yourself just cursing at yourself,
Yes.
like, you're between a rock and a hard place for 20 minutes.
Like, I had to make decisions constantly about, oh man, I don't want to give him a jewel here, but if I go here, it's worse, and there's a jewel that, those kind of moments. I enjoy that. So
score, I'm gonna give this one a 9. I like it that much.
yeah, this one for me was 8.8. It's really solid. I would continue to play this over and over. I think ultimately, also, like I said, it's very teachable. So for me, solid game. And I have only played it twice, so I envision that score has an opportunity to go up a little bit. I can't compare it directly to Targi and some of these other 2-player games, but in my 2-player list, yeah, this is solid.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Turing Machine.
Yes. Now, Turing Machine, let me first note, for those who are not on our Discord, if you come to listen to this, it's certainly one that has been talked about in there. We've done solo challenges for the daily challenges that this game have, but Turing Machine is a game that was brought to, I think, a lot of people's attention.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a puzzle game. You're trying to solve a mathematical equation by basically challenging the machine. You're putting in a number and you're putting in verifiers to determine what are the numbers that you're playing on. Are they accurate? Mm-hmm. And you only have 3 numbers that are in it. It's a 3, it might be 2, 3, 4, it might be 1, 3, 5. The numbers will not go over 5. Now let's bring up some of the information first, because I want to make sure we do cover the designer and publishers on this one.
So Turing Machine came out in 2022, right? Designed by Fabien Gradel and Johan Levet. It's published by Le Scorpion Mask, which it says that I think they also did Decrypto.
Yes, they did.
Now, in this particular game, I bought my copy, I believe, on Game Nerds. Just online, I just bought it.
And I have my own copy as well, which I picked up at a Barnes & Noble. So,
yeah,
not a review copy.
So, retail price.
Retail, so...
which I think is like $40.
Yeah. But, thematically, it's math.
Yeah.
It's deduction. I mean, the category of this game is deduction. Are cool
because, right, you take your 3 numbers and then you ask it a question, right? Like, is the sum of the triangle and square going to be equal to 6, greater than 6, less than 6, yes. Right? So right now I'm asking, is it going to be less than 6 at sum? I would take that, I would put it up against a cheat sheet, and it'll give me a check mark if I'm correct, or an X if I'm wrong. Yep. You're just doing that throughout the entire game. You just go up against your sheet and see how it goes. In terms of like solitaire, obviously it's high.
Yes.
Like I've played this a lot in person, solo. I've done it on Board Game Arena.
Yeah.
Most recently with you. But it's such a solo game.
It is, and these the game mechanics are just that. You are taking that approach to try and find the right answer. You're going to look at those verifiers every single round, and you're going to try to figure out what are the right questions to ask. Yeah. And that's what's interesting about it to me. At the time of it, though, from a solo perspective, I can say I have played a game over lunch doing a daily challenge that they do.
Right, and they have a daily challenge on their website, which is pretty dope.
I've done those in 15, 20 minutes and going back, finish the sandwich and going right back to work. So it doesn't play long in that way. If you play with others, it is going to be dependent on the people you play with.
Yeah.
If people are used to playing, I can imagine it's a half. Quick. It could go still 20, 30 minutes. It's a quick game. Components are, like you said, I think it's a well-constructed game. These components are solid.
Well, it's a nice toy.
It's definitely a toy factor, yeah.
It's a nice toy because you imagine like that old school computer punch card kind of thing and comparing it. So for sure, it's got that factor to it. So in terms of like the audience for this one though, like who would you recommend this game to?
It's interesting because I didn't think I would like this game.
Okay, I thought I would like this game.
I didn't think I would because I said in the long run, it seems like something that I'm going to do once or twice and lose interest.
Yeah.
But I wanted to try it. There was an appeal to trying. There's that FOMO.
Yeah.
I think the audience for this one is those people who have that kind of maybe I don't want to say a mathematical brain, but that kind of interest in doing that Wordle every day or those sort of things. I think the beauty of this game is that daily challenge. I do think
huge hit on the Discord.
It is. It was definitely something that I felt like we could see that. I like that solo challenge. It's more of a challenge doing the solo game and seeing, hey, did you beat it?
Yeah.
So I think if you're part of a community, certainly. I think if you have an idea of, you like that Wordle or that daily puzzle in the New York Times or whatever it is, that's who this game falls for. I don't think it's for everyone, though, in the long run, because it is very much a solo experience. And if you don't like solo experience and that non-engagement, it's not going to be for you.
Okay, hold the phone. I do like solo games. I do like non-engagement for solo. And but I like an engaging experience for solo games. And with Turing Machine, I felt like it was lacking because it felt, you're exactly right. It has that Wordle vibe, but that is why I don't like it as a board game. Yeah. Like, I don't like it as a board game. Like, I'm not going to suggest that we play a game of Turing Machine with people. Even if they like deduction games, I don't think I'd go to Turing Machine if I'm playing with a group of people. It's more of an activity, and I did enjoy it. I do enjoy it. Right. But as a board game, I wouldn't recommend it over other deduction games. Like I spend retail price of $40. I don't think it's worth $40.
No, I think that's a fair argument. I think it's fair. I figured this is where the conversation probably goes around this game, which is the fact that it does. I mean, it is an activity in that sense.
Yeah.
I like the physical putting the cards together and testing it. There's an excitement for me in that.
Yeah.
So that's where it wins for me.
Yeah.
But I can understand that also that perspective of, it's not that. But I didn't play Decrypto as an example.
Right.
I cannot, as a multiplayer game, I have not loved this.
Yeah.
As a solo game, absolutely really enjoyed it. And
I mean, the thing is, it is quick enough that I would play it with people. Like, if I'm going to play a group deduction game, I'm going to suggest Cryptid. I would suggest Cryptid over Turing Machine.
Oh, then I agree with you there, because for a group one, Cryptid is going to be better. I'm going to judge this one and any number I'm giving on this one really is, in my opinion, based on its power as a solo experience.
Yeah.
For me, and you may have a fair argument. Is this truly an activity? Is it a game? We've had that conversation before here.
I mean, it's your opinion.
Yeah, that is the beauty of opinions, right? But no, I like it, and I'm sorry. It says people know when I look at my phone, I'm double checking my score. So,
what's your score?
I actually give this as an 8.
I gave it a 6.5.
Yeah, I give it an 8. I'm going to explain the 8. It just barely passes that 7.9 like good would play.
Yeah.
Because I have played this at least 5 times a week since I've got it.
Yeah.
The only reason I have not played it the last few days is because someone else has my copy. But it's an 8. It's solid, but I can't give it much higher than that because I don't think the multiplayer is there.
I think it's cute for what it is.
Yeah.
But end of the day, yeah. You know, there's so many other deduction games I'd rather play.
Well, we do not need to deduce what we're going to talk about next because we're going to talk about Hadara. Now, Hadara, speaking of the Discord, as he had mentioned earlier, this has been a game that has been played on BGA, and I want to make a mention actually that we did play Turing Machine on BGA as well because that is in alpha. But Hadara. So Hadara, let's bring up a little bit so people can get to know the designers and publishers of this one.
Oh yeah,
I want to give some kudos to them. I have enjoyed playing.
This is my up-to-date rating, by the way. It's just A rating.
Got it.
Okay.
So we've got Benjamin Heavy. We got artists Dominic Mayer, Andreas Resich, Lucky Hans. Who else? Anyone else?
Z-Man.
The Z-Man's on this. Yeah, is there anyone else of note on this one? I don't think so. I think Z-Man's the big one.
one that we have.
Yeah, I think Z-Man's the big one, right?
Right.
But this is really a civilization game. I mean, this is what it is, but it's
my eyes just fell back.
I know, but it's very different.
Okay.
It's not. It's falling into civilization, but it's people focused, right? So you're actually going to have these different categories.
Yeah.
That are going to impact your player boards. You are having engagement in this game because, as we're going to do, we're going to be taking cards from the boards. And I will say, and we'll get into components on this one, but the cards laying on these boards, it's quite efficient. I think it's nice. But they all have different tracks that they focus on. So, for example, yellow, your money is going to be generally focused on that. You've got military, you've got civilization. And that's where that civ factor is, but that's where it kind of ends. I think that's a fair way to put it.
Okay.
You have that kind of concept. You've got the purple, which is the purple cards, which are these very
like wilds,
off the cuff, wild kind of things. And what's really interesting about this game to me is you're pulling these cards. You're trying to decide if you're going to buy this card or scrap it for money, essentially.
Right.
And then you've got to get enough of the food cards or those green cards that you can feed the number of cards that you have.
Right.
So you have to be very mindful as you're playing this game. It's not just about the money. It's about can I actually afford all of these? And then there's a mid round in between where you can add different awards and get some bonuses.
Yeah.
So you can see on your board.
That's like over here in this area.
Right. The inlets on them, again, we'll talk to this, but so you can be able to use medals to get more victory points. To be able to get victory points based on different tracks at the end of the game. So there's a lot to think about. Each track, and that's true, each track is so important.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is after that, you go back and then some of the cards that got discarded are back in play.
Yeah.
And you're able to then pull from them. So the card that you decided you didn't want at some point is still available potentially.
Right, because you're given 2 cards. You choose one to take, the other one you put back in the general discard pile, which can be purchased later.
Yeah, so you may have a shot to get. So there's so many different strategies in this game. I enjoyed this one online. I will tell you in the limited time that I had a chance to play with the physical copy, I think I enjoyed it even more.
Yeah,
I just because there's some fun to really thinking about those cards, and when I have that card in my hand, thinking about, I really want this.
We have that toy factor, right?
Yeah, I really want this. Now, it does not come with those little holders. That's
just 3D printed at it.
Those are 3D printed.
Yeah.
But it was a really great experience for me. This one, I genuinely enjoyed my play with online. I enjoyed it with it in person. Having a copy of it in my collection made me happy.
I bought it on a sale a long time ago.
Yeah, the gameplay mechanics of it though is you are building out these tracks.
Yeah.
You are building a set of cards, but you're also going head to head and having an engaged interactive way in the sense of what do I want to do with this card, and knowing that I might get it back or you might get it. And so there's some engagement in that sense, but it's not.
Do you really focus on the other players?
You
know what I mean?
Yeah, I find it's easier to focus, and this is a good question. I think on the online version, I thought more about it, but when I played the physical version, I was really looking at my stuff.
Yeah.
So calling it ultimately interactive, I cannot.
Yeah.
I don't want to call it solo, but I will not call it interactive.
Sure.
And so if you want highly interactive, this is not that.
Right.
From a mechanics perspective. Time and length has varied for me though. I've struggled. I don't know what it says on the box off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But the time and length has completely varied.
Yeah, you're saying steal green cards and people desperate for them, but at the same time, because there's an equal distribution of these green cards, right? And an equal distribution of all these cards, I don't think you're really boning too many people, to be perfectly honest. You know? Like, there's a lot of, because it's such like a, oh, well, based on the number of players, there's now a number of these cards in the discard pile. I don't think you need to really focus about the other players, per se, as much as you want to just focus on your own thing. Sure, you can, like, take a look, like, oh...
I think it's to be mindful, but it's similar to being mindful in, like... I call it... it's not that much of them being mindful of what people are taking when you're playing Splendor. Like,
well, this is better than Splendor.
Well, it's better.
But
I agree.
It has that vibe for sure, right? Because you're building your tableau, and as you're building tableau, things are going to get cheaper because of the light colors, right? There's the Splendor factor for sure. But every track does something different. But they're all kind of do this different currencies, right? Like the gold, the income one just gives you money to buy cards, right?
Yep.
The red ones give you money to buy these things down here, right? Effectively buying, right? The blue ones allow you buying this stuff and increasing your production. And then the green allows you to have those cards in that particular tableau thing. I did like this game. But I did play it a lot. And I felt like I was just like going through the same motions. You know what I mean? In terms of replayability, I don't see a lot of it, to be perfectly honest, because you're going in there and you're just building your tableau and you just have, like, honestly, these generic kind of cards, you know? If there was, and I know there's expansions for it.
There are expansions.
I haven't played any of the expansions for it, so that might fix some things for sure. But, you know, you're really just doing your own thing and sticking with your own thing.
Well, let's speak a little to this, too, because components in this game, to me, from a physical perspective, are fantastic.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give components very high marks. The board...
Yeah, rarely changed my strategy. And but that's exactly how I feel with this game.
Yeah.
I play the exact same way I play this game. And I feel like I kind of just go through, like, the motions. Whenever I get a card, I'm just going to go for the cheaper one.
Yeah.
You know? And then whenever it's time to purchase medals, I'm going to try to buy the variety ones, you know? Because those are always good. And then if I can focus on anything, I'll focus on things that give me green, so I don't have to worry about discarding cards.
And a part of it comes down to cost, too. Because when we talk about a game,
I forgot how much I bought it for. Well, I think I bought it on Amazon.
Well, it was on sale.
Yeah,
it was on sale. My point with this is, at the full price of the base game for me, I don't know that I would jump on it. But at the same time, I really do like this game, so I wouldn't
like $50.
Yeah, I don't like this at the $50, $54 mark.
Yeah.
If you have a chance to get this in that $30 to $40, in that like $35 range, it starts to fall in, because I make the Splendor comparison, even though I think there's more to this game, because I think there's a lot more. I think there is actually a little bit more happening here than
there's more than Splendor.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
But I still like it in that $35 to $40 range better than the $50.
Almost certainly got it for $35.
Yeah. So that's my opinion on the cost perspective.
Yeah.
In the audience for this one, that's actually where I struggled with it, because I don't know. I know I like it a lot, right? I know that I enjoyed it quite a bit. But I don't know that the audience for this is going to be so swooned away from some of the other games they like. And I'm not going to start someone with this game when there's other games out there that have an easier point of entry.
It's heavier for new players.
Yes.
It's light for heavy players.
Right.
But I don't think, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't, with this game in particular, with Hadara, right? There's so many other games that I'd rather focus on, but also I'd suggest Hadara over other things. I think about a game like Earth, honestly. I think Hadara shares a lot of the same DNA with Earth in terms of like the tableau building, and that there's always something going on. Everyone's doing something together. But I also feel like with Earth and Hadara, they both have like fake player interactions because everyone's doing something.
I like that description, that the fake player interaction. It's.
But you know what I mean? Like it's artificial.
Yeah.
It's not like we're actually interacting. It's just we're all doing something every turn.
Yeah, so, and again, my challenge on who this is for does come down to, I think if you like games, you should try this one out, see what you think. I don't think I'm starting anyone out with this, but I do think that if you're someone who...
At least the base game.
Yeah, the base game itself. Now, I have not played the expansion, so I can't compare it to anything. I will tell you, my score, enough, I don't think reflects how much I like the game.
Okay. Then I'll start. I gave it a 7.3.
We're not that far off. That's my point. Yeah. I'm a 7.9.
Okay.
And it's a 7.9 that could go up or down. And that's kind of why it's under that. I think that the 8 is pivotal for me. For anyone listening, and if you've watched anything in the past or present, the 8's pivotal to me because the 8 is like, let's play. And the 8 is, I'd be interested.
Yeah.
Like, let's play. And that's where the difference is. I really do like this one. I'm glad I own, but it's not going to hit the table as much as some of the other games in my collection with the physical version.
And that's honestly why I left my collection. Because, I liked it, and I still like it, but I don't love it. I'm not going to rush out to play it. I'll for sure try it out, but end of day. Yeah.
But that's mine. Mine's a 7.9, but like I said, that doesn't have the enough to go above.
No, I don't think it's a gateway.
It's not gateway. Yeah.
I'd rather gateway someone with Splendor. Perfectly honest.
I don't think it's gateway because I think there's a little too much going on in this game for it to be gateway or that approachable game.
Yeah. Because the thing is, okay, when I want to introduce someone into the board gaming hobby, I want to introduce them into a game that I feel like is going to sink teeth into them and bring them into the hobby.
Right.
And Hadara is not sinking teeth anywhere. And because of that, that's why I gave it the 7.3. It is not a sinking teeth kind of game.
Right.
You know? Like, it's not like, wow, I want to play that again.
But to the point, I want to try it with the expansions and see what the expansions do.
Sure.
And go from there. But our number 4...
It's just me on this one.
Is just you, and you're going to tell us a little bit about Old London Bridge.
Yeah, so before I do that, I'm just going to clear my rating so you don't see it. There you go. Wait. Up. Gotta do this and hit save. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Old London Bridge, designed by Gabriele Bubola and Leo Colovini, came out in 2022, published by Queen Games. Now, this game, I really wanted to try, because, I'll tell you why. What game of Leo Colovini do we both really love? Chucky Max.
Oh, yes.
Chucky Max.
It's just sitting right there.
Right? So, I want to play some more Colovini stuff. Old London Bridge was a recent release. Looked really cool because what you're doing is you are building a bridge. You're collecting different buildings and adding it to Old London Bridge. And at the end, you'll have a different bridge and kind of just, make up your own, tableau of tiles, On your turn, you're going to be bidding for turn order. Then you're going to be taking your worker, placing them out onto the board, which is like this rondelle-looking thing, but it's not really truly a rondelle, but it looks like one. Okay?
It looks like a rond. It's round.
It's round. It looks like a rondelle, right?
Got it.
That's the only criteria, I guess. You collect money, you collect whatever buildings on there, and then you score different special abilities based on what building you got and what shield color it is. So basically, if I'm red and I took this church, okay, I'm gonna move onto this church track based on the number of orange shields in my tableau. Okay, so in that case, I would get the 1, 2, 3, 4, right? But the thing is, when you place down these buildings, they need to go in descending order. So highest number to lowest number. Okay? And the thing is, if you ever get to a case where you get a building and you can't place it, you have to replace a building in your bridge.
Got it.
And at the end of the game, you're going to score additional bonus points for who is the furthest on different tracks. You can also change up some of the scoring conditions. And at the end of the game, you're going to lose money based on how many empty slots you have. Because the game is exactly 12 rounds. So at most, you'll have are exactly 12 buildings.
Got it.
Okay?
You could have less then.
You could have less.
Okay.
Okay. And the player with the most money wins. Old London Bridge. Okay. Now, the game takes about 45 to 60. Okay. It's similar to... I've heard it's similar to a game called Racco, which I've never played Racco, but it's kind of the same thing where you're putting all your stuff in a different order. I'm trying to see on our list of things.
Yeah.
The components of this game are pretty nice. Like, it's just this nice cardboard, chunky
and
tiles.
your board is your bridge, really.
Your board is your bridge.
That's neat.
And everyone's got, like, double board, you know? The cost is awful.
That's not good.
So, I bought mine on Amazon for $45, and I think that was even after a discount. Because I think they wanted, like, $70 for the Kickstarter edition. And even then, the Kickstarter edition, I think, is back to just what is in the retail. Because Queen Games are awful for Kickstarter.
Yeah,
Like,
they don't really.
They should not be using Kickstarter anymore.
No, they don't need to.
So, with this game, the price is pretty high for what it is. And it feels older than what it is. This game came out in 2022, and it's not doing a lot different.
Got it.
It's very, like, blah. And I wanted it to look blah, but not be blah. Like, El Grande looks blah, but
Right.
it's not blah. This game is blah.
You
because-
wanted beautiful beige, and this isn't even beige.
Look, I played the game kind of on autopilot on my second play, and I won just because I was playing on autopilot and just choosing the number that looked okay for me, and that's it. And I was able to just win, and it was very unsatisfying. And every round, this little circle thing turns based on whatever you flip, but it's always gonna go a number from 1 through 3, and it's not very exciting because whatever the X is, right, that particular spot no one can go to.
Okay.
Okay. Except like the middle spot, you could pay money to go to the middle spot and choose any of these to get. So again, I just played kind of like, I'm just gonna go for what number will fit in my bridge, and I ended up winning that way, and it did not feel satisfying at all. We also played with some of the different scoring tiles. There's 12 different ways you could score for scoring. Well, there's 4 different categories. Each category has 3 different ways to score. So you get to choose at the beginning which one you want to do. You can score at the end of every round, score at the end of the game. We did a variety of them. This game was just... Yeah, don't play this game.
It sounds like you wanted to like this one, and
I
just
wanted
didn't.
to like it.
And I remember you talking about this one, so just
I
because
kept wanting to get you. And
Yeah.
the thing is, it's awful at 2. Like, it says 2 to 4. Do not play this game at 2.
Well, it says best of 4.
Yeah, but do not play it at 2.
Oh yeah, so you're saying it no, absolutely not at
Yeah.
2.
Do not play it at 2. And I really wanted to like this, but end of day, it just blot out for me. And I gotta give it like a 4 or 5 on this one. Like, it's just... Yeah, what is it? Mediocre? 5? What's this one? 4, not so good, but could play again.
Yeah.
It's somewhere between there.
Got it.
4 or 5. Really wanted to like you. Don't play it at all, Squirrel. And that's the thing. Like, it's not terrible, but it's pretty bad.
Well, hopefully our last one we have.
Anyways, my copy's for sale if anyone wants to buy it.
Per our last one though, hopefully we have a different opinion. We got our
We're back at Hollandspiel.
Yeah, our eyes are back at Hollandspiel with Islet. And so we've got a Hollandspiel sandwich here.
Sure.
Yeah. So Annabelle Holland, Hollandspiel.
Wait, do you name sandwiches after the bread?
I don't know.
Right? Yeah, you don't name a sandwich that's bread.
No.
I don't know.
Hollandsfield
bread.
I'm just calling it a Hollandsfield sandwich because it's you know what?
All right.
I said what I said.
You did.
This is Islet. This was a fascinating game. Ryan, you bought this copy.
I bought it. It was
Just
the
to
one.
clarify.
So I bought it in that sale of 4 games, and it was the one I was most excited about because I'm like, finally get to play this one.
Yes.
So I tried buying it last year on the holiday sale when I bought Heading Forward, and Islet was sold out. I'm like, no, I want to. So Islet is an abstract game that uses shoelaces.
Which she tie it does
Annabelle
ties everything.
Annabelle and Mary, they tie the shoelaces by hand.
Yeah.
The little knots in each shoelace.
They tie everything.
You get 4 shoelaces.
Yep.
What you're doing is you are rolling 2 dice. It's a roll and move.
Yep.
Okay. And you are...
Keep listening. I know, you heard roll and move.
Taking your shoestring, and you're choosing any shoestring that's available, right? You start with 2 on the board. And you're going to go in one direction, that number of circles, and then put the shoestring through it.
Yep.
That's
it. Here's the thing. For the theme, I mean, the theme is... The theme,
theme is... It's aesthetically pleasing.
Aesthetically pleasing is the theme. The game mechanics are taking shoelaces and fruit based on the dice. You're going to be trying to get them... Trap your opponent into being... not able to do one.
Not able to do it. I dig that.
Yeah.
Good job. Good pun.
Yeah. I mean,
no, we're not doing puns.
But that's what it is. So you can look at the board here visually. I just have to tell you, well, we're not at components. So hold on a second. Let me just say this. From game mechanics perspective, it's very simple. The time of the game is short.
Yeah.
This is very short. And the taking of the shoelaces and putting them through and pulling them out, I mean, there's a level of satisfaction that this game gives me that I cannot explain. Like, you just have to take the shoelaces, pull them through the hole, then do the other shoelace, put it through, and they'll be like, oh, this is good.
It's a cute, like, knitting kind of thing.
Yeah.
It feels good.
Yeah, it's really solid. And honestly, with an audience for this one, anyone could enjoy this. It's a light little romp in terms of a game. You can teach someone who hasn't really played games before, hey, I want to play a quick 2-player game. Yep, sure. No, not really a game player. They could play it. It could be a filler. I mean, I feel like this.
Oh, it is a filler.
Yeah.
Sure.
But again, when we say filler, I think it's important to note that, like,
it's not negative.
It's definitely not a negative, but, like, I can show someone this and we can do it really quick.
Later, squirrel.
Have a good night. And it's just going to be a good time, and they don't need to be experienced with games. That's what I mean is it's not negative in any way, but I just think that it's fun. There's a joy to this, and it's extremely approachable.
Look, it's very aesthetically pleasing. And the thing is, when I saw Annabelle Holland was coming out with a board game, because she does some heavy subject matters. Oh, yeah. Heavy subject matter.
I mean,
right? Yeah. You know, This Guilty Land, where you're playing either pro or anti-slavery in the United States. Like, we're talking like, and then a game where you just roll and move through shoelaces.
It's neat.
When you see a game that uses shoelaces, you got to try it. Yeah. You got to try it because you don't know what you're going to get with this thing. And honestly, what you get is just a satisfying, aesthetically pleasing time.
Yes.
It's a good solitaire. You can just put shoelaces through and not really play.
Honestly, it's a relaxing solitaire.
Yeah.
That's the way I describe it. It's a very relaxing solitaire.
You just see how far you can go.
How well can I do?
Because the player colors aren't tied. The shoe colors are not tied to players.
No, it's so approachability is for anyone. Who is it for? I think this at some point or other anyone could enjoy it, unless you need a heavy game to.
Well, it's like, $30. You can only buy it through their store.
Yeah.
Right. And yeah, I would say for this game, approachability wise, if you want something like aesthetically pleasing or something different, but here's the thing: if you're getting it for a board game, don't bother. Like, don't bother. It's very aesthetically pleasing.
Yep.
Components are great. I love the whole concept behind it. As a board game, though, it's not there.
It's similar.
It's not a game, you know.
It is an experience in itself to
Like a Turing machine.
Yeah, I like Turing Machine a little bit more than this. There's a lot more meat to Turing Machine for me as an activity. But I enjoyed this. I got to play I will say I played this with my son.
Yeah.
I played this with my daughter.
Yeah.
My daughter's 5. My son is 10.
Yeah, I played it with my son too.
So when I say that, that's what stood out to me about this. The fact that, I could do this. It also reminded me a little bit of like, I can't always think of it. It's when you've got the wooden block triangle and you're trying to do the, you put the golf, like the little golf.
Like the little marble?
No, it's a little puzzle. It's like it's a little
like
puzzle.
A jigsaw puzzle?
I can't remember the name. Someone's gonna know what the name of it is, but they make it like a triangle and they've got like the golf tees in it, and you want to be. So there's only one left.
I do know what you're talking about.
So
yep.
It's got that
they
same
jump over.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a good feeling to it when you accomplish a victory. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
But you know what? I'd rather play this roll and move over some other roll and moves. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
It's not mean spirited.
No.
You know, it's because you know what's fun. At a certain point, the shoelace is gonna run out. So you want to go for the low numbers, and it's just like you're pushing your luck, and just did I do it?
And then so there's not enough of the string left.
Yeah,
and
you're really trying to push it.
Oh man, yeah, and then
it feels good.
Yeah, it feels good.
Because the thing is, when you roll doubles, here's the thing: when you roll doubles, you have 2 options: add a shoelace in, which is only 4, and you start off with 2, or if there's no more shoelaces in, or you choose to, that value roll doubles, you do that 4 times. So if you roll 2 2s, you're going to do 2 4 times.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be the same shoelace. You can go alternate. So, anyways, Islet, aesthetically pleasing. Components are really nice. And if you want something like as a gift to someone, especially to like knitting and like sitting down and doing that sort of thing, it's cute for what it is.
Yeah.
But gameplay wise, not there. I'm going to give it a 6.3. And I don't mean that as a bad 6.3. Because here's the thing. Hollandspiel Games, Amabel makes the games that she wants. And I am all for it. Like, Islet, I'm so happy I got to play it. And even though it's a 6.3, I don't think it's going to leave my collection anytime soon. Because of how unique and different it is.
And mine was a 7.
Okay.
Partially because big part of that 7 comes from the fact that I did play it with my 5-year-old, played it with my 10-year-old, and I played it with my wife.
Yep.
That's where I was testing this one. It was not a test for me, and we played it too. So I played it with you. So I played it with 4 different people. I played it with Gamer, my wife who games, but more of a light medium game and below.
Yeah.
I played it with my son who plays a lot of variety, and I played it with a 5-year-old who was able to grasp the concept and do it. So, while I agree with much of what you said, I think the reason I kept it above a 6 was just because of how approachable it was for all these different groups. And even if it's really more towards a kind of little small activity, it was a fun one. Yeah. So I think it's a solid. It's not a low set. Like I said, I think this easily falls in that 6.5 to 7.5 range for a reason. But it's well designed for what it is, and it does what it's supposed to. So well done in my opinion with this one. And that's Islet.
Cool. All right, y'all. So those are our reviews.
Yeah, and as I said, I will be over the course of time dropping them individually. Got to give me a little bit of time to do that, but we'll make sure we chapter this off as always. We'll have more to come in the next few weeks. I know we're gonna have some great guests, and one of the things that we will do, of course, towards the end of the month is our next episode of Call Aboard. So I want you to start thinking about the games you're playing and come back, share them with us.
Yeah, y'all. See you later.
Have a great night, everybody.
Bye.